And we continue tonight, direct from Santa Monica, California, with your CR for Stimulus 1, 2, 3, and 4.0, your SS 300. And the latest details about the Build Back Better Act. We have a lot in the second half of this recording. We'll be looking at the situation and how it is impacted by the events in Ukraine and Russia, and how it impacts your wallet across the land. I have all these incredible details coming up in tonight's second half of this video. I'm excited you're here. But first, I want you part of this incredible family, so go into this video and subscribe. I want you part of this incredible family. Number 3 most watched financial news channel in America, heading to number 2. Like the video, 3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member, Purple Hawk, Purple Power, or Calcino VIP. Let's go over all the details you need to know tonight when we look at first CR for Stimulus 1.0. CR for Stimulus 1.0 is getting really good with $1.5 trillion of discretionary spending in there. That's huge because it has a lot of money for at least a stimulus check. Number 1. Number 2, discretionary. It's at the discretion of those cabinet members, and those cabinet members of the White House can spend it on you. Number 3, it's bipartisan support. So is there anything bad that's going on? Well, yeah, there is. The White House has now been asking for some of that money to be increased for COVID spending. Not happening. What happened? Well, Senate Appropriations Chair Patrick Leahy, remember the name? Yeah, Leahy. I kept on saying advocate to Leahy Schumer for CR for Stimulus 1.0. He says, I'm not eager to add anything, White House. It's taken several months of negotiations to get where we are, and I'm very reluctant to open anything else. Do you just always see this happening? We're at the very finish line, and suddenly someone comes in and says, I want something. Where were you months ago when we were working on this? I'm not eager to add anything. And this is not small tickets the White House is looking for. $5 billion more for testing, $3 billion to cover for uninsured, $18 billion for treatment and COVID testing. Not happening. Then Republicans don't even like it either. $30 billion with not oversight. Remember, we're talking about $1.5 trillion, and $30 billion is still a big hunk. So Republicans don't like it. Democrats don't like it. Now, they've been with me a while. There's one group I don't particularly like, and you know who they are. The restaurant union. They've been watching my channel apparently. There's 1.5 trillion. Let's go get that. We can make some more lasagna. Yeah, so the restaurant union is now lobbying Congress to get that $1.5 trillion spent on them. Oh, really? Get behind us. Who do you think you are? I'm not joking. That just is. As your channel gets bigger, then they watch you from where the free money is. Like, oh yeah. So tell them to get behind us. A princess on Twitter has been having some great Twitter emojis where she's been tagging the elected officials saying, "Spend the money on us." Let's remember, it's $1.5 trillion. And this is discretionary funds. The funds are at the discretion of the cabinet members. Spend the money on us. And what's important is to advocate to those legislators, not just Leahy, not just Schumer, but to say, hey, spend the money on us because we've had your back. It's time for you to have our back. Sanders, Schumer, Warren, Wyden, Casey, Coons, and more. You know, the messaging is very clear. Build Back Better Act will happen, but you need to spend the money on us so that we get this money. We are suffering during this economic upheaval of inflation and gas prices, and you've not been able to deliver Build Back Better to the finish line. So you want to retain your seats as Senate Democrats? Well, you better give us pennies. You better give us money because Republicans are vowing to give us money as well. You better start spending money on us. And I'm not talking about dental vision. I'm talking about checks in our hands, because the inflationary pressures are real right across the board. Let's go into the latest updates on CR for Stimulus 2 and 3.0. So 2 and 3.0 is getting fascinating because the House Democrats understand that Build Back Better will pass, but no time or place to wait around for it, so they need other pieces, to quote them, of legislation. They passed one in the House, now sent to the Senate, and those pieces of legislation being merged with the Senate Republicans' ideas. What? How is this possible? So much bipartisanship. It's because Democrats and Republicans understand that the midterm elections will be won based upon giving people economic relief now, not promises of economic relief now, in view of the inflationary pressures at hand. And then we look at CR for Stimulus 4.0, the Russian sanctions bill. This is not particularly clear what's going on with this because while the White House has announced lots of sanctions this week, even several versions today, the Senate bill that would sanction Russia additionally has not even been teed up for a vote by Chuck Schumer. Not particularly clear why not. And then I have brand new breaking news. It's all great news, starting right now with SS200, SS300, and SS400. Boy, folks, this is really credible, great news, and it's brand new tonight on evenings. I'm going to go first over what SS200, 300, and 400 is, how much money it is. Then I'll go into the breaking news, so you hear it from me right off the board. And then I'm going to go over how Joe Biden can do this. Before I want to go over that, I want to say something very clear, if I haven't said it across yet in this video. The element of what's going on in news reporting right now is the following. There's a potential war ensuing in Eastern Europe, and the non-financial news channels cover war extensively because it's big ratings for them. And so if you see a correspondent on a rooftop covering an explosion in the background, that brings them more ratings than talking about Build Back Better. I want you to know that if you're tuning into them on your TV set, don't think that Build Back Better or anything I'm covering with you is dead. It's just they're going for something that brings them in ratings. It could be a tornado. It could be a hurricane. They're going to cover what brings them ratings. When you look at the financial news channels, the three of us, the number one covers stocks. The stocks have been really hurting because of Ukraine and Russia. The number two covers the Federal Reserve. I'll be going over Federal Reserve's implications in the next 5 minutes of this video. And me, number three, I go over your money, how to get money from all these incredible programs. So I want you to understand, if you don't see something somewhere else, don't think it's not happening. They're running for the ratings with the particular story. All right, let's go over what the president did. Let's go over what SS200, 300, 400 is, and then what the president did across the board today. SS200 was a campaign promise from Liz Warren. During her run for president, Liz Warren promised to raise your benefits up an additional $200 a month. Who's you? If you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, Railroad benefits, Veterans benefits, SSA, RB, across the board. She immediately thereafter withdrew for her run for president. Joe Biden adopted her policies, said, I'm going to make them my own. He did. He won the general election. Then he put them in his transition papers at joebiden.com, saying these will be delivered to the millions of America. What is it? $200 a month on top of your existing benefits. Well, he came in office, didn't do it. And suddenly Democratic senators say, fifth stimulus. We're going to do a fifth stimulus. They didn't get that done. So 3 weeks ago, I brought SS200 back on this channel. And now this week, I showed you how to do SS300. The concept is very simply replacing COLA with inflation, which is a higher benchmark, which would raise your benefits up $200 a month starting right now, and then additional $100 in January next year, and then about $50, $60 thereafter every year thereafter. That is SS 300, 400. More about that second. But I have brand new breaking news tonight, which is all great news for you that the president did do. And it all impacts your wallet. When we talk about Vladimir Putin and Ukraine, what we're talking about is oil and gas. A major exporter of gasoline that you get at the pump comes from Russia and also comes from Ukraine. Because of the sanctions now upon Russia, Russia's oil is no longer available to U.S. citizens. And the Ukrainian oil will be impeded as well. So if you have less barrels of gasoline available from Russia, then what you do have available could go up higher in price. Not so fast. The White House, in great news today, said, I will not allow U.S. manufacturers of gasoline to now raise their prices because Russia and Ukraine's oil is no longer available to U.S. citizens. Oh, this is good, folks. So he's trying to stabilize the prices and basically saying he will criminally prosecute any U.S. manufacturer of oil and gas that now sees that Russia and Ukraine is no longer in the equation for providing gasoline. He will prosecute those U.S. manufacturers if they try to price gouge you, try to raise the prices up too high. Number two, there is great news tonight that the White House may have a major deal to get 1.5 million barrels of gasoline into our circulation. Where's it coming from? Iran. Private indicators now suggest that the White House may have a nuclear agreement with Iran in the works. This may be pissing off Vladimir Putin, ironically. That if there's a nuclear deal done with Iran that could be coming in the next few weeks, that would float 1.5 million new barrels of gasoline into our economy. And that would bring down the price of gasoline humongously. Oh boy, is it looking good. But the other one that came in really great today, which is not a few weeks out, it's by the end of this week, is the incredible release of more gasoline from the federal emergency reserves. What's at issue? The federal government owns barrels of Brent crude. Have you met Brent? He's very crude. No, this is actually gasoline barrels. We call it Brent crude. The federal government keeps them in storage in the back room. Every time Chuck has an opening on Broadway, they bring it out and roll it out, put it back in there. I want you to understand that if they release some, they go buy and buy some more later on when it's on discount. I'm not joking. So don't think we're running out of it. It just goes to the dollar store every time it's on sale. Just buy some more, puts it back. No joke. That's actually what it does. So what is what has Biden not done, and what did Biden finally do today? So Biden only has released, I think, one time since I've been covering this. Well, one time since he's been president. Some of these barrels into our flow, into our economy, to bring the price of gasoline down. Only once, Mr. President? Yeah, I've been critical about this. So finally, this week, he's releasing some more. Thank goodness. I mean, really, why so stingy on releasing the barrels? So the releasing of new barrels will happen by the end of this week. Thank goodness. That means that gasoline prices at the pump will come down. Where are we right now? These are not your prices that you pay. This is what the barrel of the Brent, that crude guy, pays. He's very crude. $100 a barrel right now. That's where we are right now. Analysts believe that we could sustain that level for 6 more months if inflation does not get worse. If inflation does not get worse. But at the moment, we're looking like we're heading to 125. We cannot sustain 125, the analysts say. So we're trying to bring it down to about $93 is what Biden is trying to do, which is much better than where we are now. And that would be in view of any potential other inflation across the board. The Federal Reserve has that new economic data coming out this Friday, that will determine whether the Federal Reserve will raise interest rates 5 meetings this year, or 7 times in 5 meetings this year, or may even worse, raise it a half basis point in just a few days from now at its first meeting. Oh boy. So you guys stay with me in the next 24 hours, because those financial elements coming out tomorrow are huge. And this is all why SS 300, 400 is so important. The concept is very simple. That you go to buy your items at the store to survive, you're paying $200, $300, $400 a month. So the president needs to do this right away. How does he do it? He just picks up the phone and contacts the head of Social Security and say, replace COLA with inflation. Do it 30 days out. Suddenly, it's costing you $300 more per month to live, $200 more per month. That would be a break even. And then as these other items come down, like gasoline, like consumer goods later this year, then you'll be ahead of the game. Then you'll actually be getting more money and keeping more money in the bank. Later this December, inflation is expected to be about 4%. So you get another lift up across the board with that. That would bring you to SS 300. Very simple across the board. This is how we rock and roll. Now, what's important to understand is that the Federal Reserve has that meeting coming in just a few days from now, the first week of March. And we're looking at seeing where the Federal Reserve is going to raise interest rates 5 times in 5 meetings at a quarter basis points, or potentially 7 times in 5 meetings, or even worse, a half basis point in just its first meeting just a few days from now. There's a lot of breaking news coming to this channel, folks, in the next few days. I will be recording more than you've seen me before, because there is so much recordings and so much breaking news. This is where all the elements of Ukraine, inflation, the Federal Reserve all come together. Now, what do we do on this channel? My job is to get you cash. Cash is king. Cashing checks, not tracking checks. And that is why it's important to know what's in Build Back Better Act, but it's also important to get the big money of third stimulus. Let's go over quickly what is in Build Back Better Act and go right to third stimulus, because you're going to get cash today, not 5 months from now, today from third stimulus. And here we go. What is in fourth stimulus before we get to that third stimulus money? There's $72,500 of what you can deduct in state and local taxes, growing from $10,000. Cheaper prescription medication, growing from 10 at year 1 to 30 at 2028. $40 billion of free job training got in there. Tax hikes, wow. They got in there the Medicaid gap fix, 12 workaround states that will provide low-income uninsured people subsidized private insurance, and then they got in there housing assistance, coming back to that in a second. And then they got in there the earned income tax credit, one more year, the CTC, the checks for the children, the household tax credit, and then the nutrition, of course. But then let's turn to the third stimulus money. Third stimulus. What we do on this channel is cash checks. And we see all this elements of inflation and gasoline and Ukraine. Get cash right now, folks. It's third stimulus. And the great success story is that viewers who listen and apply the information are cleaning up this week. I'll have more viewers tomorrow, including Bob Bacon, who sent me a beautiful message saying that he got some money for himself and his family just the last few days. Got to. Those lobster shorts are not cheap. Here's Nisi. She got another $10,000 for rent and utilities this week. Karen Thompson got another $40,000 for rent and SNAP and utilities. What are we doing? We're getting third stimulus. And where do you get it? Pull out the newsletter if you remember this channel. If you're not, but go under this video right now and get a newsletter. And become a member. To get the newsletter, it goes out Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time via the YouTube alert system and the LALATE alert system. Here's the rent. You get it from 6 places. City Hall, City House Authority, all featured in the newsletter. County Hall, County House Authority. State Hall and State House Authority. And keywords you're going to say are rent assistance because of COVID. Mortgage and utility assistance because of COVID. Next, get SNAP. And utilities. Utility assistance because of COVID. Mark's brother-in-law getting $15,000. SNAP, you get it from Department of Agriculture. Mark's brother-in-law is getting $25,000 a year for his family, over 10 years, $250,000 from this channel. Nisi, she got 3 items. Inspired countless viewers like Art Sullivan to get 3. Here was Mark at 2. He got $32,000. Then he grew at the 3 items at $50,000. Now he's over 3 items. Now he's over $100,000 with more items. Here's Lorraine at 105 and now heading to 120. But notice this was a graphic from Nisi back in October. She got another $10,000 in this round today. She got another round last year. So she's heading to $40,000 herself. What are we doing here, folks? What we do on this channel is we get as much cash as king. This channel is not about what's in your mailbox. Just tell me what's landing in my mailbox. No, I'm not going to tell you what's landing in your mailbox. I'm going to show you how to get cash today. You don't want the cash today? Then I can't help you. I have one wonderful, kind viewer who's a longtime viewer who's in the live chat yesterday. He said he had reached out to one of those 6 places to get the rent. One, and got a no, and stopped. Ain't how you do it. Remember Johnny's incredible story? Reached out to 17 places, got 8 approved in 1 week, $80,000. 15 places in 1 week, got 7 approved, $80,000. That's how you do it. You keep on calling. The latest round, I want you to get out all the way to May for your rent. City Hall, City House Authority. County Hall, County House Authority. State Hall and State House Authority. That's 6. You remember this channel? Open the newsletter. Reach out to the 5 nonprofits. There's 5 of them. Between the 5 nonprofits and the 6 places, you will get rent, utilities, SNAP for additional more months. I have a lot of viewers who I see in the live chat who I know got rounds in the spring of 2020 and another round in Christmas 2021, and spring of 2021 and Christmas 2021. But I haven't seen you get another round lately, so I'm watching you. I'm watching you. I know you haven't gotten that latest round. Go get it right now. We have a lot coming up tonight across the board. Evenings countdown at 6 o'clock. Evenings LATE at 5 o'clock. Evenings extra at 8 o'clock. And evening stream and stimulus at 7. Then we go over our overnight shows across the board at 9 o'clock. We'll be having more expanded coverage on this channel. I'm back to being with you more on air than ever before, but I want to send all our prayers and wishes to the families in Ukraine. Also, the families in Georgia and Belarus on tense alert as concerns that they could be the next target of Vladimir Putin's invasion hopes. I also want to send our deepest thought to our men and women of armed services who are currently stationed in neighboring countries that are NATO alliance countries like Poland, Lithuania, Poland, and Romania. Our prayers and wishes are with you, and this channel is a channel of solidarity, of support, of love, of kindness, and hope and dedication. We come together in times of needs like this, and we stay positive. We stay focused, and we stay loving towards one another. And with that, I want you part of this incredible family and send your love to all those people overseas impacted across the board. Stay informed, stay focused. Have a beautiful evening. Stay here as the programming continues throughout the night, and I will be on top of every element that impacts your wallet. Whether it is Brent and how crude he is, with or without his lobster shorts on. You know, I've never met a person more crude than Brent, but I'll have the latest details and more as LA continues.